Did you know that Lost creators Damon Lindelof and J.J. Abrams wanted to kill Jack off in episode 1? Or that Yeonjin Kim, who plays Sun, originally read for the part of Kate? From idea to screen, the pilot episode of Lost was scripted, cast, and filmed in just 12 weeks, and was at that point the most expensive piece of television ever made. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at just some of what has gone into making Lost.
When Damon and I met for the first time and started pitching ideas, Damon pitched the opening sequence, like literally shot for shot. The guy waking up, seeing the dog, being in the jungle, sort of running through, hearing the sounds. And it was that approach to the story that got me hooked too, because typically you'd start on the plane, you get to know everyone, you have little vignettes of people, and then turbulence, And this was like, screw convention, we're gonna just jump in and scare the hell out of you.
In the same conversation, JJ started talking about when he gets to the crash site, that the plane should be still very dangerous. The idea that it was a wounded animal that was sort of in its death throes, and that wings would be tipping over and explosions would be happening and people would be getting sucked into engines. And as opposed to sort of just the pyrotechnic approach of, this is gonna be cool, it was, this is a very dangerous place that they're on, and survival is not a passive thing. Like, they've crash landed on this island, but now this is where it's really gonna start.
I remember when we were shooting that, they were doing a shot of Maggie Grace, who plays Shannon, standing in heels and a little mini skirt with that pink top on, and she was just screaming hysterically. And the image of all that wreckage and people kind of stumbling and falling past her and the smoke, just a really powerful image. I mean, that on its own.
In the outline, we actually killed Jack, the hero, the doctor. The entire first half of the pilot was spent saying, oh, this guy is the greatest guy to have on the island. He knows what to do. He can help people out. He knows where to go. And then he basically was killed by the monster at the end of the second act. But as we started talking about the characters more and, and falling in love with them, people started reading the script and saying, you can't do that to this guy.
Whatever you say, Doc. You're the hero.
When you talk to someone about Lost, they were gripped from the get-go. But for me, it got more interesting when the show moved beyond that, and it was clear that it was going to show each character in flashback and engage you in their backstories.
The process became very amorphous as we went, and characters who we didn't think we'd need, as we were reading actors for characters, we'd be like, we love that actor, they weren't right for that, well, let's write a part for them.
I originally read for Kate. I don't think they ever thought of casting me as Kate, but they saw me, and the next day I found out that JJ started writing a role, Sun.
Check it out.
We said, how interesting would it be for there to be non-English speaking characters on the island as series regulars? And then we just started coming up with ideas as we were casting the show. Charlie started out as a much older character, like Spinal Tap, Has-Been, and then Dominic Monaghan came in and read, and we suddenly said, well, that's an interesting, kind of much younger, sort of fresher look at it.
I have a plane to catch.
We just kind of said, well, what if he was just sort of a one-hit wonder, and what he would become when stripped of his identity? Because that's ultimately what the show is about, is like sort of taking these characters and saying, we're going to define them and say this is who they were before the crash, but then all that stuff becomes increasingly irrelevant in their scenario. It really only matters, like, can you hunt boar, or like, can you get along with the other people? Like, what function do you serve now?
And exactly how are we gonna find the sustenance? We hunt.